What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 28 of Tsunami Speaks with your girl, Tsunami Jones. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend if you can. That's how we'll continue to grow this channel going forward and keep making headway to 500 subscribers and beyond. All right, guys. Before I really get into it, sorry I've been quiet. Whether it's on Twitter or on YouTube, making Knicks content like I was been promising to do so. I have been sick for like over 2 weeks, close to 3 weeks at this point. And it's been whooping my behind. Talking is what prompts a lot of my coughing, so kind of hard to do content like that. I want y'all to get good stuff. I don't want to be coughing the entire video. So that said, that's why I didn't go live this time for this video, so I can kind of control the narrative if if you will. Um, I said, bear with me, guys. I'm trying. I've never been sick this long in my entire life. It's kind of scary, but appreciate the kind thoughts and words from everybody. But let's get this Jets content out before the game gets on and the Jets do what I expect them to do, and that's get a damn dub. All right. So guys, week 11. We're finally here. The bye week is over. We could finally just focus on the coming week, this coming game, when we play the godforsaken New England Patriots again. Our Jets are 6-3. The last loss we had was to that same team. We up for revenge? I'm up for revenge. We're back to our white on black uniforms. Last time we played them, we wore the stealth black outfit the entire game. Maybe that's gonna bring some that good winning juju that we need in here. We back in the Gillette Stadium, ew, where we haven't won in a very long time. Last thing I heard was since Mark Sanchez. I don't know if that's exactly right, but that's what I heard. And honestly, after losing that heartbreaker a few weeks ago, we need revenge. We need this damn win. And then of course, we as Jets fans know if we win this week, we'll be top of the division at week 11. That's crazy to me. I love it. And remember, right after that L, our boys seemed pissed off. Everyone was upset after that game. You could tell they really wanted that dub. Zach hurt us, but we didn't play well in all phases of the football. So, with that being said, I feel like this is like our final boss to completely destroy the narrative of same old Jets. I know I've like talked about this narrative a lot. The first step that we had in killing that off was when we beat the Dolphins, and then we beat the Packers and the Broncos and so on and so forth. But the Patriots would mean if we beat them, that means we beat every team in our division at least once. That's pretty damn good for a team that hadn't beaten anybody in the division in years. So huge, huge, huge win, and just good for the fan base, good for the team itself. Let's get this dub. Like let's get this train back on track and keep it going. That win against the Bills got us started. Got a bye week. We got a little healthier, a little bit. So with that being said, let's talk about the injury reports. Okay, then. So now we're going to start with the New York Jets. Quick recap, not a fun one. Brees Hall and Elijah Vera Tucker are out for the season. Just have to address it. Moving on, the other two players who are still on the IR, unfortunately, are George Fant and Max Mitchell, our two offensive linemen. I'm a little surprised that they haven't been designated to return yet, but that's what we have as far as information on that. Um, Corey Davis is still out. Sheldon Rankins is also out. And the one player that we have that is questionable is Nate Herbig. He did not practice on Friday, but Salah said he's hopeful and thinks that Herbig will play. We'll see how that goes. Patriots. Ty Montgomery is still on the IR for them. Jake Bailey, their punter, who's pretty damn good, he's out. Christian Barmore is out. Marcus Cannon, I believe, was on the IR earlier on the season. He's still out as well. And then they have Anthony Jennings is questionable. Devontae Parker is questionable. And Josh Uche is questionable as well with a hamstring injury. So with all that being kind of said here, back to the Jets, I'll just start there. I'm a little disappointed that Max Mitchell and Dwayne Brown, not Dwayne Brown. Whew, no, I don't even want to bring him up. George Fant haven't been activated, even though I'm not entirely shocked about Fant. Max Mitchell did begin practicing this week, so that was good to see. I guess he needs one more week. At least he should be coming back this season. And the major deal is our offensive line did pretty well when we played against the Bills, who do have a solid pass rush, even though they've been banged up. We all know that. So I'm still pretty happy about that. Not happy, but I'm not too worried in regards to that. Um, that said, the Patriots news is interesting. Losing their punter is something else. I mean, that's a team that's predicated on their special teams, so I'm sure that's going to hurt. I'm curious how they're going to handle that. Obviously, I know they signed someone else to be the punter. I did not look into that before starting this video, so sorry about that. But I know they signed someone in order to play punter, so that'll be something to watch. Um, that said, Devontae Parker being out, kind of same. Well, not out. Sorry, he's questionable, but that's kind of same old, same old. Any Dolphins fans that watched him, that dude was hurt a lot. Um, so we'll kind of see as far as like the way injuries kind of change things. But I will say this about Sheldon Rankins' injury. I saw that we signed, not signed, but we activated Tanzel Smart off the practice squad, so he's going to get his first few snaps of the season this year. He played well in the preseason, so it's going to be interesting to see how he impacts it. But I'm glad he's getting a shot, and then we didn't necessarily go with Linval Joseph. I think the Eagles did that after that, after the drubbing they got on Monday. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Eagles fans. I know y'all watch. I got a few friends that are Eagles fans. I still love y'all. It was just I was not expecting them to get ran all over the place like that. That's all. So they tried to clear that hole, so to speak, with Linval Joseph, and I forgot who else they signed. Well, that's someone the Jets were also interested in. Um, but yeah, I do think Sheldon Rankins' presence is going to hurt us. His lack of presence is going to hurt us just a little bit, considering the first team that we're playing is a team that likes to run the crap out of the ball, and he was pretty good against the run. So we'll see. That's just something to be on the lookout for. And of course, Christian Barmore was out against us when we played them before. He's a good run stopping D tackle. So it's kind of like their guys out and our guys out, same position, so to speak. So we'll see. But that's going to help us as far as, less run stuffing help. So our boys, James Robinson and Michael Carter, can do what they do. That's all I got as far as injuries go. All right. So as far as keys to the dub go, I'm going to keep this relatively short. We need to limit those turnovers. We lost the turnover battle in the last matchup against the Patriots 3-1. We already know what those turnovers were. I'm not going to go into it. But considering how close that game ended up being at the very end, it just shows how important those turnovers were. If we could just limit them to just the one, like they limited us to the one, that's a dub to me because the Jets are such a difficult team to beat when we don't turn over the ball or when we don't make self-inflicted mistakes. We're too good, especially with the way our defense plays. So that's going to be huge. So in turn, we need to create turnovers as well. The last time we played them, the one turnover that I mentioned that we did create was the Michael Carter interception. He almost had two. I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all know. We already know what happened in that game and the way the refs were refereeing. It is what it is. That's what they do. But we get that one. We already know we win that game. That said, we need more opportunities to do so. So when Jordan Whitehead gets those opportunities, when Marcus Joyner gets them, when Sauce gets them, we need those guys to come over with it, come down with the football, and start, and give us that short field situation that we're gonna need for Zach. Um, it's a lot harder to defeat a team when it's 50 yards that they have to overcome versus 80 or 90, right? So that's going to be what I'm looking at, and that's what I think we need to do. Furthermore, we need to continue to stop the run for obvious reasons, because I mean that's basically what the Patriots do. They run the crap out of the ball, and then Mac Jones nickels and dimes you with his passing game. That's his strength, and that's their strength. So with that said, We have to be able to stop them. In the last game, they didn't kill us as much as they could have. I feel like they ran the ball a little bit less in the first half than they not that they ran the not that they didn't run it as much. It's just they didn't like kill us run wise. Let me just check really quick just so I can get my numbers in front of you guys. I normally come with it with the numbers. Um, so they ran for 127 yards in that game, which if we hold them to 100, does that make a difference? Again, with how close it was, it matters. They average 122.6 yards a game now. Now the Jets, we've been holding teams to 105 or so. Regardless, I don't have that number exactly. I think that's the old number, so I don't want to say that's accurate. That said, we need to hold them to under 100 rushing yards. We do that, we win the game. We have to do that. That includes Mac Jones's um, his little RPOs and stuff like that they're having him do this year. That's another key I kind of have. I want Mac Jones to stay as behind in the pocket. I don't want him running past our defensive linemen and and sliding and getting those and extending those drives. Because that's something that killed us in that game too. You kept seeing him do that. 7 of those is too many for Mac Jones. I mean, we put a hurting on him in that game too. But that said, we need to keep him in the pocket. I don't want him scrambling personally because he can get by our guys. Um, so in regards to the running the football or stopping the run, I want us to run the effing damn ball because we do. We need to. The Pats are now 18th in the NFL, giving up 120 rushing yards a game. Before we played them last time, they were getting up 136 yards. So I think their numbers came down specifically because they played the Colts the last game, their very last game right after our game. And I believe Jonathan Taylor didn't play. Um, Not to mention, we didn't run the ball very much in that game. We only ran 51 yards. We only rushed for 51 yards in that game, which is insane when you think about it. We know why, but it was still a thing. And I did just confirm, like I said, Jonathan Taylor didn't play that game. So the Patriots kind of got lucky when they played the Colts. There's a lot of things that were going poorly for the Colts going into that game. Y'all see they made changes right after that game because of the drubbing that occurred, right? Anyway, so back to our last matchup when we played the Patriots. Again, 51 rushing yards. I don't expect that to happen again. I feel like LaFleur has after like the way that we played against the Bills, what our game plan was, we ran the ball quite a few times. We rushed the ball more than we passed. So that was good to see. Zach played a different brand of football that we hadn't seen, so to speak. He got out of the ball. He got the ball out of his hands very quickly and all that good stuff. I think we'll go right back to that same type of recipe because we know that's what wins us games. So 34 times to 25 times was like the ratio of run to pass in that last game. Even though we do know Bill's going to load the boxes, so Zach's going to have to make some throws. He just needs to nail them when they're there. Next here, defense needs to get to the quarterback for sure, right? We know this. I'm going to say this all the time because it's key. But even more so because the Patriots, even they still kind of have a weakness at offensive line. Excuse me. They've given up 22 sacks, sorry, this year. 22. And of those 22 sacks, the Jets had 6 of them. We destroyed Mac Jones as far as sacks goes and putting them on the ground. I think we got a lot of those sacks in the second half of that game. I believe we got 3 of them. Do not quote me. This is just from my memory here. But I remember we got at least 2 or 3 in the second half, and we need to get to them in the first half. Um, but I'd love for us to repeat that number. 6 sacks again. I love those. I love our chances in a situation like that. And then Mac Jones, like I've mentioned earlier, he hasn't looked good this year. I mean, the Patriots really only had one really good drive in that game. The other scoring drives that they had, our defense did a really good job against them. The first drive I didn't even look at the same because that was the one that CJ Mosley got banged up. So they got that first touchdown. They felt pretty good about themselves. We came down, got a touchdown right after, if my memory serves. Um, and then they had, I think it was late in the second quarter, something like that. They had a really good drive in there that made them look good. That was the one that I remember. And it was just where they were imposing their will with their running game. And Mac Jones had a few good throws. But that's really it. Few good throws is all Mac Jones is doing. The rest of the game, he's been pretty bad. Just saying. So, with that, we need to put his behind on the ground. In the as far as the last couple keys I have for us, we need a great special teams performance for sure. I know I say this a lot, but we are really tough to beat when our special teams plays well. Most of the time we win. Like we definitely win when we play when they play as superb as we've seen them. The only thing to keep in mind with this is the Patriots also have a very good special teams. Now, they're down one of their special teams players, like I mentioned, their punter. So that's going to make a difference, but still going to be a good special teams unit. So I need ours to take that to their advantage. I need a great Braxton Berrios game. I need a Justin Hardy sighting. I need to see it. This would be the game to see it in. So let's get it done. And I said, oh, and I also thought about this that I wouldn't be surprised if we got a fake punt in this game. If we're having a hard time putting offense on the board, I could definitely see it happen. And I know Braden Mann has been either really, really awesome or he's had a couple dud games in there. It's some helter skelter crap. But that said, I think we're due for a good Braden Mann game. Maybe that's this week. And then, of course, our offensive line needs to hold up for Zach. Against the Bills, our offensive line did much better. But like I kind of mentioned earlier, Zach did a great job as well of getting the ball out of his hands quickly and making just decisive plays. And I do expect that Bill is going to tell his players to prepare for that. So, what's our counterattack to their counterattack? We'll see. One good thing is this particular unit has played with each other for the last 3 games in a row. So they've gotten more used to Cedric being over there and Nate. And if Nate stays healthy and plays in this game, Jesus, I think that they'll have that camaraderie and they'll be kind of prepared for that defensive Patriots defensive pass rush, which is pretty daunting. I'll give them their credit. All right, so for the players to watch and players I'll be paying all the attention to, let's start with Zach Wilson. Not just because I'm a fan of the kid. I think this is just going to be a huge game for him. This is a game where we're going to see where Zach really is in his development coming off a bye week. I'm sure he watched plenty of tape on what the things that he did well, what the things that he didn't do well were. And comparing that from coming off a really disappointing game against the Patriots last time with some terrible throws, I'll admit it, and bad decisions against the Patriots to a much more in control, decisive, efficient Zach Wilson against the Bills, and some great throws in that game. Zach hadn't had a game like that against the Patriots yet. He's had some good ones against other teams. Patriots are a division rival, and they've been kind of getting the better of him in the 3 games he's played. We need to see a change here. This changes the narrative with the national media, who I don't care about because all they do is say dumb stuff as far as I'm concerned. Unless it's one of our media guys, like your Bart Scotts of the world, like your Leger Douzables of the world, things like players like that. They're good. Of course, your Rich Eisens and all that as well. But those are the players, only people that are really fair to the New York Jets. But anyway, that said, the national media, the other people, the others, the people who think of the Jets as the corny fan base and the people they see in SNL and just the butt fumble. That's what comes up. And Zach Wilson is going to be a player that if he has a really good game against the Patriots, that changes the narrative. And I think it'd be good for the team too to see their guy go up there and beat those demons, after just having a bad game against them not too long ago. So my stat line for Zach is 19 of 26 for 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Because I think you gotta get one. Not that and again, I don't think of him as an interception machine. It's really been like the Patriots have gotten him, but this year he really isn't one. So he's become a better player in certain aspects, and his decision making is just what's got to continue to improve. Got to keep stacking those decisions up and those good passes up. That said, I'll move on here. Braxton Berrios is going to be the next player. I know I had him a couple videos ago against when I was doing my game preview against the Patriots before. They didn't unleash him in that matchup. I expected him to go off. I expected reverses, end arounds, all sorts of gadget tricks and all sorts of stuff, and we didn't do that. So now I'm doubling down, and I expect him to do it this week because that's just how it works. Again, Corey Davis is out. So I mean, is Elijah Moore gonna be the one to step up? Maybe. He's in the slot now. I'm sure you guys have heard about that. And he seems to be in good spirits. I like the interview that I saw, and I'm happy about that. But does he come in there and kill it? Or is it Braxton Berrios? So for me, it was like either or. I don't think Denzel Mims like sets the world on fire tomorrow. He could. I just don't see that yet. We'll see. So my guy in this game is gonna be Braxton Berrios. I think I could see us being like 15 yards out in the red zone, and him, you know, juking a dude and getting in the red zone and getting a touchdown. That's what I'm kind of expecting from Braxton. Or maybe he kills it in special teams, something like that. Gives us a nice long 50-yard return. And gives us great field position. All right. Next, Sauce. Ha ha. Gotta talk about my guy Sauce Gardner. So I gotta recap what he's done because he's just so fun to talk about. So for the season, he's got 2 interceptions, 44 tackles, 13 passes defense, and he's only given up 189 yards and no touchdowns in man-to-man coverage. They did attribute that one to him on PFF for when I can't remember what game it is right now. I'm sorry guys, but there was that one that was a couple games ago. It'll come to me later. It might have been the Patriots game. If not, it was the game right before it, which would be the Broncos, I think. But anyway, but that wasn't in man to man. That wasn't really on him. But it is what it is. They can count it on him or not. I love what I'm seeing from Sauce. I don't want to see an inch of breathing room on Jacoby Myers or Nelson Aguilar or whoever the hell they have on the outside playing wide receiver. I want to see a turnover from him. I want to see a turnover. I want Sauce to run one back and do the deuces or do whatever. Grab a fan out of the stands and talk to him. I don't care what it is. I want to see my guy just go off. Okay. So that's what I'm expecting, and I want to see it. And I have an honorable mention as far as like the defense. Well, as far as like this kind of vein goes, I was also thinking about Michael Carter here because I know y'all probably tired of me using our name brand player. Sauce is a name brand player, if you will. So I'm gonna give some love to Michael Carter too. Michael Carter the second, that is. He has been a bit of a ball hawk. Um, in the secondary, I like what he's doing when people are putting him, against these players in the slot. They target him because DJ Reed and Sauce is so good. They're like, damn, maybe we'll put dude in the slot and see what they can do against Michael Carter the second. Who is that? And Michael Carter's like, I am that. So we're seeing it. Maybe he gets his revenge and gets another, and in this case, true pick six. I would love to see it. Would love to see it. That will be one of my props for this game. Spoiler alert. For defense scores a touchdown. I like that in FanDuel. I will be using it. Moving on. Last Jets player tandem in this case. Jordan Whitehead and LaMarcus Joyner. For me, it's hard to separate these two. There are safeties. They've been much maligned and much ballyhooed, depending on the game, right? When they played the Patriots last time, when the Patriots were making plays, and it wasn't necessarily running wise, it was when they were picking on LaMarcus Joyner and Jordan Whitehead. They're not the best cover safeties. They're not terrible. They're just not the best. They're our weakest link on the defense. So that said, that's what the Patriots do. That's what Bill Belichick and his son do. They want to attack your weaknesses and then make you play not to your strengths, right? So that said, in this case, I'm hoping Jordan Whitehead and LaMarcus Joyner take advantage. I need to see them turn over the ball or just break up passes. I really don't care. Turnovers are going to be my preferred because that helps the team immediately. But I want them to make some damn plays. Let's see it. I would like for Jordan Whitehead to deplete a cat when they're running. Go ahead and turn down Ramondre Stevenson. You know what I mean? Deplete him. And so that said, I'll move on to the Patriots players here. The player that I want to be depleted is Ramondre Stevenson. Deplete him. I don't want to see him go off against us again. He leads the team in rushing with 618 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns so far. He gashed our team a little bit with 71 yards on 16 carries last game. I don't want that to happen again. I want to see 3 yards a carry, 2.5 yards a carry. You dig? That's what I want to see. Another player I'll be paying attention to, and I'm a little worried about is Devin McCourty. For some reason, this guy, because he's not young anymore, he is someone who I won't say he has our number because he doesn't. He just seems to make good plays against us. And some might say this is low hanging fruit, but he did pick off Zach in the last game. Just saying. Yes, those 2 interceptions were just where Zach just should have threw it a little bit further out and not given, McCourty a chance to get it, but he still read Zach pretty good there. So that's someone that I want Zach to be paying attention to. Watch out for Devin McCourty. When you're throwing the ball outside and you're trying to, just get rid of the football, launch that joker. Don't put it so close to the side. And intentional grounding with the way he likes to run around is not really gonna be a thing. And then of course, Matthew Judon. Very short story. The Patriots put up 9 sacks against the Colts in that game against Sam Ellinger, the one that I mentioned that Jonathan Taylor didn't play in. So they knew they had him. Anyway, in that game, Matt Judon contributed 3 of those sacks. And the Colts had a terrible offensive line, but that's neither here nor there. So, of course, that brings this guy up to 11.5 sacks for the season. And he leads the NFL in sacks. So he's coming in feeling pretty good about himself. Even though he didn't do a ton on the stat sheet, so to speak, against us when we played them, his presence was still felt. He did bat a ball down from Zach. And so we need to keep him under wraps. We need to keep him locked up. We need our offensive line to do what they do and make big things happen. Keep him out of the pocket. All right. So as far as my prediction for the game. So in years past, I'd consider this game a trap game. And I'll be a little bit worried about it because the Patriots have had our number for a long time. I'll be real. I mean, I can't be a Jets fan and not admit that. And I hate them. But this game, believe it or not, I'm feeling pretty chill. Sickness or not. I'm as pumped as I can be going into a game feeling the way I do with in general health wise. But it's yo, these Jets are not the same old Jets. They're different. These kids are excited. These kids were angry, man. They were angry about the way that they took that L last time. DJ Reed's face kind of stuck with me. He was kind of scary looking after that. Saying, "Oh, we'll play him again. We'll see them again. We'll see them real soon." I'm like, okay, if that's the case, I want to see them bring it, and I think they're gonna bring it. Zach already had a chip on his shoulder, so I'm not even gonna bring Zach into it. Think they could talk to Quentin Williams, who's been on the team. He's a vet now. Baby boy is a vet. Quentin Williams wants this W because he knows the Patriots always beat them. So it's different. It's something that they can't take for granted. They know how important this is. And winning in Foxborough is different. So I think they really are going to ball out I think it's gonna be a game where both teams run the crap out of the damn ball. Both of them just run, 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 run all over the way, all over the place. And our defense is a defense I trust better or trust more. I think Quentin Williams, Sauce Gardner, Michael Carter II, DJ Reed, Jordan Whitehead, Quan Alexander, CJ Mosley. I mean, I can go on and on. I think those guys make an impact and we prevail. I'm not gonna say our offense is gonna win it for us. Our defense is. So what I have the Jets winning 28-17. Just seeing that number, it's even I know that sounds crazy because that's not a team that we beat like that, but I think we're gonna do it. I think James Robinson gets a touchdown. I think Michael Carter gets a touchdown. I think we're gonna see some points on the board from the Jets. We were gonna play angry and ready, and we're gonna get that dub. Let's get it. That's what I think. All right, lastly here, guys, I have some bets like always, my potential parlays for Sunday. All right, as of today, the Jets are at 3.5 points for the spread against the Patriots because you know how the media thinks about us, even Vegas thinks about us as the same old Jets and that we can't win this game. So I'm taking those 3.5 points and I'm parlaying them with the money line. And that's gonna be my bet, and I feel pretty damn good about that. Um, I recommend all you guys go ahead and do that. But don't get mad at me if something crazy happens. If injuries happen, that's not my fault. After that, I'm definitely going to take the Commanders going against the Texans. Three big reasons, and I'll make them fast. One, this team is different with Taylor Heineke at the helm. Those players believe in him. Scary Terry's interview after they beat the Eagles, you could hear it in his voice. He loves Heineke, dog. It's like we believe in him. We trust him. That's my guy. And I'm like, you can feel it, the passion. And he throws those 50-50 balls to Scary Terry. He does throw it to him. Some fans don't like that. I like that especially when you're going against a team that doesn't have the number one corner. No Derek Stingley going into this game. So no Derek Stingley. The way the team is galvanized against Heineke or for Heineke with Heineke, and then third, Texans cannot stop the run. The Commanders do a good job of running the ball. So that to me that spells a dub, or at least spells that they're gonna keep it close. And Texans keep their games close in general anyway. So I like that for the Commanders. So I would definitely go them there. Might even, in a money line parlay, I would go Jets and Commanders there for sure. I feel pretty good about that. And in that same parlay, I would put the Cowboys. It's my next one. They have the spread at 1.5 points, with the Vikings being the favorite. The Vikings are at home, I believe. But the Cowboys got embarrassed losing to the Packers. Y'all saw that game. It was crazy. It was crazy. I think Christian Watson had 3 touchdowns against them in that game. No one expected Christian Watson to be there, to have a game like that, especially because he hasn't been as much involved. He's been hurt half the season, all those things. So those things kind of caught them off guard. Um, and I think that game meant a lot to the Packers in general to make sure they beat Mike McCarthy. So the game plan, then of course Mike McCarthy's a meh game planner. But against the Vikings just had their, I won't say the Super Bowl, but it was a huge game for them, right? So one team is coming off a big loss, the other team's coming off a big dub. Both teams are banged up, but the Vikings are pretty banged up. Justin Jefferson is hurt. He's going to play, but he's got a turf toe injury. I don't like that. Darius Smith is questionable, and he's been playing so good this year. They're going to need him. So I'm taking all those things into account, and I'm going Cowboys here. And I'm getting points. I didn't even expect to get points in the first place. 1.5, I'm taking them. So that's my three. I'll go money line on all three as well, going into this week. And as a quick bonus, so I did kind of talk about it a little earlier, the prop that I'll recommend. I'm not saying you have to do this. You guys know. You guys know. I've said this before. I am just an amateur gambler who enjoys doing it. It is fun and it makes watching all the other games more fun. Because, I can't watch the Jets for 8 hours on red zone. Yeah, watch the other teams. Anyway, that said, this prop bet that I have, of course, is a Jets prop. I got Michael Carter going for a touchdown. They've been utilizing him more in the red zone, not just for running the ball in, but even passing to him and stuff like that. Could easily see us doing that. I know we did that against the Bills anyway. So I got him for a touchdown and over 42 yards rushing. They have the line for him at 42, 41 and a half specifically. And then I got G-Dub for 60 yards. I would have went harder on G-Dub because you see that they're building that connection. And he was almost a player I brought up earlier as well, for players to watch for the Jets. The only thing is I think it's Jack Jones, their number one corner. I think they'll probably bracket coverage on him. Put Jack Jones and then a safety on him, maybe McCourty will help or whatever, to try and take him out of the game. That'll force Zach to have to throw to Denzel Mims, Elijah Moore, Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzama. These are not bad weapons, but they're not Garrett Wilson. So the whole thing with Bill Belichick is take the best player out of, take your best player, take your best weapon out of it. The best weapon is Garrett Wilson. We know this. So that's why I don't have Garrett Wilson having a great game. But I can see him still getting 60 because he's a game breaker. All he needs is 2 plays. Because he can get that yak in spades. So that's why I got him for that. And that gives you odds of plus 854. Excuse me, which isn't too bad. And I think that gives you a good amount of money to brag about for the week, depending on how much you put down on that. We'll see what y'all do. That said, thanks for watching, guys. And again, I appreciate y'all's patience and me getting this content out. I expect to get better this week because it's Thanksgiving week and God loves me somewhat. I know He does. I need Him. I'm praying that I feel better so I can spend time with the people I love. So, and my family, who I love as well. That was weird. Anyway, forgive me, guys. So, anyway, I want to get better and I want to make more content for you guys. That's important to me. I didn't forget y'all. But anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend if you can. And I'll see you guys next time, presumably after the Jets get a dub on Sunday. And next content coming soon. I can only do 1 video a day until I get better. But love you guys. Have a good one. Let's go Jets.